Yippie ki motherfucker indeed, as we are in the Geek Dome, the Geek Cave for another issue of Hops Geek News, a podcast about pop culture, essentially, comic books, news, random subjects that you never know you needed until now. Search us Hops Geek News on the Instagram, and then Hops News anywhere you listen to podcasts. Like, subscribe, share. That's how we get the podcast to grow. I am one of your two co-hosts. I am Mash. Alongside me is Lauren, aka the Hoppy Mommy. How are we this fine evening in the middle of December?
We are fabulous and freezing in Orlando, Florida. And if you're watching on YouTube, you've already seen me shush my kids more than once, which is the reason
Yes.
I'm called the Hoppy Mommy. But yeah, no, it's really cold down here. I'm not loving it. But I'm finishing up my beer from Hops News that we recorded tonight, and I'm about to open a as much as I could theme Die Hard beer as possible. So
Ooh, what do you have? What's on deck? I was drinking Battery Steel or Battery Steel's Flume, and then I drank a yellow cake, which always makes me think of the Dave Chappelle episode. If anybody's seen Dave Chappelle, it's when he's pretending to be the president. He's like, "I got this yellow cake, and don't you drop that shit. Don't you
I
drop
don't
that
think I've
shit."
seen that
Yeah, well,
one.
this is Finback Brewing's Yellow Cake. They brewed it in collaboration
Nice.
with Crooked Run Brewing. Shout out to Tracy. She
I was
sent me
gonna say that
this.
must be a Tracy beer,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're from Brooklyn and Queens. Actually, they're from Queens. Maybe. Yep, they're
Nice.
New York City. It's kind of all the same to me. Being Queens, New York. So
Anybody from New York would probably be like,
well, they
"What?"
would beat the shit out of me. I'm from Boston, so naturally hate
But
New
you can
York.
do this all day, so you'd be
I
fine.
can. Brooklyn. Anyways, that's what I had earlier. But what do you have? What do you got going on?
So I'm finishing up my spruce,
Ooh,
which is like hops in a Christmas tree.
I have that
And
sitting
I
in my fridge
actually,
actually.
so this I'm about to crack this open. It's from Georgia. It's called Lucky Scars Hazy IPA. I've never
Whoa.
even heard of this brewery, but a friend of mine just came back from Asheville and brought me a bunch of Burial, and he also brought me this. So I trust Tim very much so. He actually runs a whole page in Orlando to promote Orlando breweries, Orlando Brewery Forum. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. He posts all the latest news from all the Orlando breweries.
Huh.
So I haven't opened it yet, but I know it's going to be good because I trust him. And he even said, he's like, "Do you want any of this?" I'm like, "Whatever you have, I will take because I trust your judgment
I
in beer."
trust you. Just shower me.
Right.
First of
With
all,
my
it's beer. I'm
life.
not turning it down. Second of all, I trust you. I've often wondered, like, I know there's a Boise Beer Buddies group out here. Whoa, excuse me. You got
Oh,
that
yeah.
on
We
there.
follow them and they follow
We
us.
do. Stacy, she's incredible. Um,
Wait, it's a
I've
girl that runs that? That makes me like
yeah,
them even more.
she's such a nice lady. She's amazing. I've had a beer with her and a few of the other Boise Beer Buddies groups. There's a lot of like breweries in Boise that you get a Boise Beer Buddies. I've said Boise in like three different ways. It's Boise before anybody yells at me. And
I won't yell at
you
you.
can go ahead and you get a like $20 a year membership, and you can go get like dollar pints off. You show your Boise Beer Buddies card. She works with the comic slash beer podcast that's out of Boise, Idaho. But she's really nice,
Oh,
Stacy. And so I've often thought about like I should do like a Boise, Idaho beer page, but she kind of already has that, and so I don't want to step on her
we
toes.
need to do a crossover.
So I'm just gonna continue like pimping out Loose Screw and Western Collective. Shout out to Carrie. Oh, Nakatomi. How did you get a glass with that? What the hell? Where have I been?
I made that shit.
Oh, you did? Oh man, that
So
is
with my
awesome.
silhouette, yes, last year actually, I made I have one of those fancy silhouette machines that you can basically make stickers out of. And
Dang.
I got a bunch of beer glasses at the dollar store and I made myself some beer or some Christmas beer glasses. Of course, now you can buy them all over the place. Like Glass to Mouth has some gorgeous
They
Christmas
do.
ones.
Holy shit.
But yeah, I just found a file on Pinterest and it says Nakatomi
Ah,
Plaza
Pinterest.
1988 Christmas
Such a
party.
mom.
And it's got the Nakatomi. I am a middle-aged white mom. I
Oh
don't know what to,
god.
but I love this glass.
That is a
Yeah,
sick
so this is one
glass.
of my
I
favorite
appreciate
Christmas
it.
glasses. So it looks like a souvenir from the
It
Christmas party.
does. It
It should say
does.
"I survived
I
the
survived
Nakatomi
That's what
Plaza
we should have
Christmas
got
party."
shirts. Is you should have made a shirt that said I survived Nakatomi Plaza.
Ooh, this beer is good.
I have a
I've only
wreck.
had one beer, so I can't
I've got.
or one
If you're
sip.
watching on YouTube, you can see my can. It's Wreck the Halls from Full Sail in Hood River, Oregon. I'm like on the border of Oregon out here. but I haven't been to their breweries yet because of the pandemic mostly.
They have some of the
And
best breweries.
the fact that you got to like drive through the middle of the mountains in the middle of winter to get there if it's not summer. So I think next summer we're really going to hopefully get to Bend. Bend is like the number one place on my bucket list
Yes.
because of the breweries out there and the mountains. So I'm hoping to
Right.
get there. We get a lot of Oregon breweries, obviously, being that we're in Idaho. So Full Sail wreck the halls because I felt like nothing says Christmas time like John McClane wrecking Hans Gruber's party.
Right. So when we were in Portland, everybody kept asking anytime we were at a brewery there, are you going to Bend? Are you going to Bend? And fortunately it was a trip with the kids, so it wasn't solely related around beer and we didn't
Right.
make it there. But yeah, that's one I definitely want to go back to.
I'm
So I'm
6
looking at
hours
this can.
away. So we
Yeah,
should
you
plan a joint
pack
trip
it up.
at some point.
Yes.
If you plan to come out this way and go to Bend, I will gladly meet you
Yeah.
there.
I mean, Bend, Oregon's one of them. I need to do Denver, Colorado,
Oh,
Austin,
Denver too.
Texas. I
Yes.
mean, I have and I need to go back to Asheville because I had only done Wicked Weed and that was years ago.
We're gonna have to do a
But I'm looking at this
vacation.
can more so, and I guess they have a facility in Franklin, North Carolina, and
Ooh.
Alpharetta, Georgia.
Huh.
It's Curahi Brewing. I've actually never heard of them.
I haven't either, actually,
Oh,
surprisingly.
ha! It actually has like a phonetical pronunciation on the side. Curahi.
It's because nobody knows
I'm
how to
probably still
pronounce it, and they're
butchering it.
very self-aware, and they're like, God damn it, just somebody get our name right.
Right, but this beer is great. This is delicious. All right, well, let's move on to some geek stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, first we have our
First of
We're
all,
Not Experts.
we're not experts. Not every Jesus made mistakes once in a while, hence my birth. And I made mistakes. And last week I said Ezra Miller.
Happy birthday, Jesus.
Happy birthday, Jesus. And my brother, because his birthday is also on Christmas Day. Anyways.
Oh, that sucks.
Ezra Miller is not the Star Wars Rebels Jedi. It's Ezra Bridger. I said Ezra Miller. It's definitely not Ezra Miller. He just plays.
He's the Flash.
He's the Flash, plays in Fantastic Beasts. And Ezra Bridger is your Star Wars Rebels character who I think is going to pop back up in The Mandalorian, which we're going to get to at the end of the episode, as always.
Wait, Ezra Miller was in Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah, he played like this. I think he had like mental disabilities and he had like this awful bowl haircut. He was in the first one. I don't know if he was in the second one because I've only seen the first one and I was not impressed. By the way,
first one too.
Spoiler alert, we're going to do a Harry Potter episode next week. Fantastic.
I will have somebody as a stand-in because I cannot give you what you all deserve.
I love Harry Potter, but I don't care for Fantastic Beasts. J.K. Rowling got too big for her britches, so to speak, and she just kind of is a mess. Anyways, Harry Potter next week. That's neither here nor there. Yes, Ezra Miller was in Fantastic Beasts, the very first one. I can't even tell you what happens to that movie anymore, to be honest with you. I don't remember it.
What was the guy that's what did I see him in recently? Oh, Chicago 7.
Is Josh
in it?
Josh Gad? Is he in that? Is that Josh Gad or is he just
Olaf?
No, it's not Olaf. I'm sorry. I'm getting my fat.
Yeah. Oh, I know who you're talking about. It's the dude. It's the guy. God, he's in The Walking Dead now. He was in we're in our
guys.
Yes,
anyways,
we fucked up. We're now gonna have to have a whole other side of We're Not
like
Experts
a whole 30-minute
week.
segment. No, I think
know
you
exactly
have some news, don't you?
Yes,
or some you fucked up messages, whatever. I'm moving on because I'm not.
You know the guy you're talking about.
Anymore.
He kind of looks like Josh Gad. He's in the Goldbergs. He's
he had this shitty mustache. Yeah, he's in the Goldbergs. I love that show.
Yes, he's in The Walking Dead now too.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know. I'm bringing you all the Walking Dead news because nobody else is watching.
Real quick, I got breaking news. Once you're done, that I have just found on the Twitter sphere. It's gonna be old news.
Now.
As of right now, okay. Apparently.
So We're Not Experts is last week we were going back and forth about what Mark Hamill is in as far as CW stuff. You were correct. He's in, what did we say? The Flash? Whatever. He's not in Supergirl.
No.
I kept thinking he was Wynn's dad, but it's actually Henry Kazerny. He played Wynn's dad in Supergirl, but he's called the Toy Man. I don't know why I was thinking that he was Mark Hamill, but Mark Hamill is the trickster in The Flash.
Mark Hamill's amazing. He can do anything.
He can do any. Okay.
So
what have you read or watched this week? You've read Oblivion's song. I want to hear about this.
You're right. I'm jumping ahead because I'm browsing.
Calm
Twitter.
yourself.
I'm getting all
Get off the Twitter.
Hot and bothered. Anyways, what have I read? Oh my God.
What'd you think of Oblivion's song?
So I haven't read the whole thing yet. I'm kind of pacing myself. I got the the book, which is issues 1 through 6. I've gotten to the
Nice.
point where they've kind of
Don't spoil it though.
okay.
Just kind of,
They have revealed a character who is special to our main character, Nathan.
but do you like it?
I like it. It's great.
Okay.
It's kind of it. I can see how Robert Kirkman kind of did this because it kind of has some tones that match The Walking Dead, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's like, oh, monsters! Hell yeah! I love post-apocalyptic stories. I love monsters, and so that's kind of what it is. It's really good so far. I just randomly picked it up last week when I took my son to the comic book shop. Captain Comics in Boise. Thank you, by the way, because they gave my son like free Pokemon stuff for his birthday. Thought that was really cool.
Aw,
It was
that is
really cool.
awesome.
But yeah, I
I love
just
comic book
randomly
shops. They're always so
they
nice.
are. They're so nice. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what's going on? What's your birthday? Hey, do you like Pokemon? Here you go. Um, but yeah, I picked up Oblivion Song because I randomly saw it. That's like the one place I go to anytime I'm in Boise is like I gotta go to the comic book shop. And other than that, 616, I got some tips and tricks on how to take pictures of toys and things because I love doing that. We both do because we buy
Yes,
toys
we
for our
do.
kids, but really they're for us. Let's be honest, they're for us.
Oh,
I
I even
love
got, what is it?
Lego
I don't know where
picks.
it is.
You have
My
toys
daughter.
behind you. You have an R2D2, you've got a Ray. And so we like taking toy pictures. Well, there's an episode on 616, Marvel 616, that is, on Disney Plus, that kind of goes into depth on what some of these like photographers do. And I got to step my game up. I got to get the board that lets you like scrub out
Ah,
things. I think it's
I
episode
haven't gotten there yet. I've
6.
only seen the first two.
Yeah, it's episode 6 or 7, and it's really good, and it kind of gives you some insight into that industry. There's a big industry for it, and I'm kind of diving into it. I got a good camera. I just need the important things, which is like Photoshop and stuff like that. So really
Very cool.
cool. And then of course Mandalorian. So we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
What
Okay, I
about
have
you?
this teeny tiny ring to take pictures of my beer and toys that my daughter recommended I get because one day I was like, oh, the lighting's too dark on my beer picture. And my daughter pulls out one of these
She's
and
like, I
she's like, oh,
got you. Stay
yeah. I
strapped.
guess my in-laws gave it to her and I had no idea. So I ordered one off Amazon for like $10 or something. It makes a difference. So sometimes it brightens up your nice beer pictures.
I do have so at my work we kind of have like this reading thing. Well, when we have that ring light that people use.
That's what it is. It's a
Yeah,
mini ring
well,
light.
I have a big ring light, so maybe I just like use that. Oh, that thing is
You're
sweet. It's
watching
like
on
an arc
YouTube, you can see now.
reactor.
Yeah. It is an arc
It
reactor.
is.
There you go. Yeah, I don't have a big one because I'm not really big on selfies, but I like to take good pictures of my
Ugh,
beer
me
and
neither.
toys.
Anything
Yeah.
but
Okay.
me.
So what I have been watching, obviously, I watched Mando, and I watched Godmothered on Disney Plus. Very good.
Oh, Carrie, my wife, was actually talking about watching that. That's
Watch
had
it. So it takes
oh,
place at Christmas time, so you can count it as a Christmas movie. The
counts.
godmother she's hilarious. I don't know what her name is, but I'm not even gonna try to guess
Oh,
because I
I
honestly don't know her name.
know
She
exactly
plays
who it
Seth
is.
Rogen's wife in The Night Before.
I
She's
downloaded
in the
that.
movie with the three dudes from the working show from Comedy Central. She's
What?
really funny. She's hilarious.
Oh, I know
Brittany
who
runs a
you're talking
marathon.
about. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about because
She's hilarious. She's the
her name is
godmother.
Jillian Bell.
Okay, Isla Fisher's also in this. You know her from Wedding Crashers.
That's
She's
Sacha
Borat's
Baron
wife.
Cohen's wife.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was I watched it with my daughters. They both loved it. I loved it. It had some really funny parts. Totally
Hmm.
wholesome as well. Highly recommend it. You can watch it with your kids. You can watch it by yourself. It's a fun Christmas movie.
I'm living
Um,
alone.
and I finished Ready Player 2. It was
How was
good.
it?
It was very good. The first one's better. And I was talking to the guy at the comic book shop the other day because he asked me, he's only read the first one. He's like, well, how, was it? And I feel like
Tell
the first
me.
one was so amazing because you're so impressed by all the 80s nostalgia combined with the futuristic predictions. And in this, it's a little bit more of the same. And so you're not impressed because you've already seen this nostalgia crossover with these futuristic kind of projections, but it's not exactly the same. It's more of the same, but it's not the same. It's a much shorter book. I feel like this was a much quicker read.
Hmm.
But it was good. If you read the first one, I highly recommend you read the second one. If you haven't read the first one, I highly, highly recommend you read the first one. The first one was fantastic. I do kind of want to go back and watch the movie again. My only thing is, like, I've never been able to watch Lord of the Rings, and there was a lot of Lord of the Rings
Oh,
references in
come
this.
on. Really? I was just thinking because I have a beer from Icarus Brewing that's the Eye of Sauron, basically. I was like, oh, we got to do an episode on Lord of the Rings.
I will try
So giving
again. I
Christmas.
tried to watch the first
They're
one.
on
I found it
Netflix.
terribly boring.
The fuck?
I think they're all on HBO too, because I was going through HBO Max
Probably.
the other day and I saw them all there.
Oh, HBO
I
Max.
couldn't do it. I didn't find everybody. It's like if you have to like power through something, like I understand, okay, The Godfather is different. You got to power through the wedding to get to the good stuff. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I've watched, I feel like 20 minutes of the first one. I was like, are we still real? Is this really still happening? This is all that's happening? So if you've liked Lord of the Rings, and you will love these books because there are a lot of references to Lord of the Rings in both books, but definitely in the second one. So it was really good, not as good as the first, but it was really good. And when I say that, like the first was phenomenal. So to say it's not as good as the first means it's still an excellent book.
Hmm. All right. I'm going to
That
read
is my
eventually. I
question.
haven't read a good book. I haven't read a novel in a while. I do love reading. I just haven't read them in a while.
Right. Yeah, the first one's, I mean, I'd send you the first one, but I think it would cost me the same to send it as it is to order it these days.
Yeah. I'm going to get to it because I haven't read the first one yet. So I will get to it
Yeah, the
eventually.
first one's great. And I actually just picked up volume 4 of The Boys from the comic book shop yesterday. They ordered me 4, 5, and 6, and I think that is the rest of them.
I think
So I
so.
can be nice and caught up when Jensen Ackles takes his role as Soldier Boy, because I'm
Uh
super
oh.
excited about that.
It's happening. It's
It is happening. Oh, he's
happening.
going to get sized for that costume. It's going to be amazing. So let's move on. What do we have next?
So I was browsing the Twitter sphere real quick. So today we're recording on the 9th of December. Well, the 10th of December is a Marvel event.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of
And
news next
we're
week.
gonna have a lot of news next week. It's probably gonna be outdated. You're probably gonna know, whatever, skip through it. I don't care. However, Star Wars, according to New York Times, Disney will be announcing a significant expansion of the Star Wars universe during tomorrow's investor
Boba Fett,
presentation.
maybe. Ahsoka, maybe.
Oh, we're gonna get an Ahsoka television show. Oh man, I can't even begin. I can't. I literally can't even right now because what
Literally
they're
can't
doing with
even.
these TV shows,
He's white girl freaking out.
they're way better than the movies that we got. And so it's like they
Yeah.
give me all of what I've been craving, such as Kenobi, which starts filming they start, I think, in January, but that's probably just your roundtable discussions, script reads. I think in March is when they really start filming, which they're going to start filming in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm extra mad. If anybody knows me, that's where I'm from. I literally moved
He's
there.
mad because he doesn't live there now.
I was lucky enough to live there after joining my current job. Well, they moved me to Idaho last year. Now they're filming fucking Kenobi. So I'm
So is that
sad,
going to be
but
about Obi-Wan Kenobi?
it is. So it takes place after episode 3. I think something
So
that
is
I've
it going to be what's his face?
it's going to be Ewan McGregor. He's on. They start
Nice.
filming in Boston and then London. And then actually the number one thing that I have been clamoring about, and I think a lot of Star Wars fans kind of have been, is the fact that he thinks Anakin's dead. He left him for dead. He couldn't bring
Right.
himself to actually kill Anakin. And so he thought he was dead. Well, I cannot wait to see the
His
moment that
reaction.
Obi-Wan realizes that Anakin is now Darth Vader. He's still alive. That's gonna break your it's gonna break your heart. If it doesn't, then you're a robot. I don't know what to tell. I cannot wait for that. And that's the number one thing I'm waiting for. Um, the number two thing I'm waiting for is HBO Max and Warner Brothers have recently opened the floodgates. Every single 2021 film is going to release on HBO Max and in theaters the same exact day.
That's crazy. Looks like we're not canceling HBO Max anytime soon.
We are not. I'm gonna get it for Wonder Woman, of course. We're gonna watch that Christmas night, probably. But really, let's be honest, we're all really getting it for Tom and Jerry. Let's come on. That, oh man, it just looks so
Do all you
bad.
kids know who Tom and Jerry is?
Well, like, have you seen the trailer for Tom and Jerry at
I
all?
haven't. I haven't.
Oh my God. So
I mean,
Chloe,
I watched it as a kid. I
yeah, Chloe Grace
remember watching
Mortez,
it.
Mortz, I cannot never pronounce her name. Uh, she is gonna be in this movie. It's live action mixed with Tom and Jerry, their cartoons.
They're cartoons.
It doesn't look good.
Wait, are they cartoons or CGI?
They're cartoon CGI. Isn't it kind of one and the same anymore?
Well, I feel like to me, when I hear cartoons, I think like Mary Poppins. And when I hear CGI, it could be like the new Lion King. Does that make sense?
Well, okay, so it's not quite the Lion King. It is definitely cartoons. It's their cartoon for more. Yeah, we're just gonna go with cartoon. And
Okay.
so she's in it. There's some other big name actors. Really, that's kind of how you know you're, unless you're James Marsden, who for some reason loves doing these movies. That's kind of how you know your career's not looking the best. You just
I
take it.
love James Marsden. Come
Oh,
on. He's Cyclops. He's the
he
Easter
does it
Bunny. Come
all.
on.
But at the same time, it's like
And
Chloe
he gets
Grace.
murdered
She's
every
everything.
episode of Westworld.
He does. Which, ooh, speaking of Westworld, we
We have an
have
update on
another
that?
movie coming. Well, no, but another
Oh.
movie coming to HBO Max is Reminiscence. It's made by the co-runner of Westworld, Lisa Joy. It's written about a scientist who discovers ways to relive your past.
Okay, Ready Player 2 or Ready
Yeah.
Player 1.
Well, all right. So if you could relive your past anytime, is there one moment in time that you would relive?
One moment in time.
Well, it can be any moments, but what is the
As a
one
mother,
moment
it
that
would
you're like,
obligatorily be the second my kids were born.
you're
Duh.
lying? You would never want to put yourself through that pain ever again.
No, I said once they were born,
No,
not
nobody,
when I was
no.
in labor. If I could relive one moment, can I redo these? You have to relive what happened, huh?
You do, but you can also change the outcome because it's the whole point. You relive your past so you
So
can
I could not get
change your
trashed in
outcome.
Vermont and actually enjoy The Alchemist,
You
not
could.
hungover.
I can do a lot of things different, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the things I would do different would mean I don't end up in the life that I am now. That's
Ah.
the double-edged sword of it all.
I feel like the things that I would change, I would still be okay where I am. Like I'd still be there. Like they're like slight things that would just make me more so enjoy that moment. Like
I wouldn't do
I had a
so many
great time in
drugs in high
Vermont.
school.
Would you say
I
I did
wouldn't do
drugs in
so
high
many
school?
drugs in high school.
Are you talking about me or you?
Me. I would
Oh,
be such a
okay.
fat piece of shit. I don't know.
I was not that. Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs.
Well,
Hmm.
drugs can be good sometimes.
I never did real drugs, only weed.
Oh boy.
But I
Oh,
did a lot
not
of weed
no
in high school.
marijuanas, kids. If you're listening, do not do even one marijuanas.
Marijuana.
It'll just ruin your life.
It's a gateway drug.
It's the
And
gateway to
drugs are bad.
happiness and curing
I remember
anxiety.
being so we were down at the beach one day at night. Like if you live in Fort Lauderdale, we'd go down to Beach Place a lot when I was in high school. At night, you have the whole like scene. This cop goes up to one of our friends one night. He's like, "Are you on drugs, son?"
I'm high on life,
So
sir.
it's just a saying we now say when anybody's being stupid. Are you on drugs, son?
Sir, I
Oh,
am
it was
so
funny.
high. Anyways, speaking of being on drugs,
That was a terrible
anybody who lived
tangent.
through the first Space Jam probably was on drugs, unless you were a kid.
Space Jam is amazing, and
It
you do
is.
not need to be on drugs to enjoy how amazing that movie is
Agreed.
because
It
it's amazing.
was, Michael Jordan really had to study hard
He
for
made
that
fun of
kind of role.
himself for playing baseball and came back to basketball through this movie.
Oh, watch The Last Dance. It's a Michael Jordan puff piece.
I
But
did watch it.
or you can watch Space Jam: A New Legacy, which is LeBron James
Fuck
taking
LeBron.
over the Space Jam. He brought Miami a championship.
What? I'm sorry. What did he bring Miami? Because I'm pretty sure he didn't bring Miami anything.
Oh,
Did he
without him,
help
Dwayne
and
Wade was
assist?
not bringing a championship by himself because last time Dwayne Wade got
Have you
championship,
ever seen Dwayne Wade under pressure versus LeBron James under pressure? Because
he went in
Dwayne Wade
2006.
will
The
bring the
Heat
heat
won
under
a
pressure, whereas
championship with
LeBron James, when shit comes to
Shaquille
shit, he
O'Neal.
stands back and lets somebody else finish the game.
Well, sometimes you just gotta let somebody else finish for you.
Mm-hmm.
Look, LeBron James has more champion. He brought a championship to Cleveland. I don't. I respect LeBron James the person for the things that he has done for
Yes,
like
as a person, he's a great
education
guy.
for kids. The on the court player of LeBron James,
Not a
I
fan.
don't care for him at all.
Yes, as a person, he's great. I basketball hate him.
Yes. You know, that's kind of how I feel about a lot of people. Bill Belichick, also, I hated him for the longest time. I love him on the
Honestly,
football field.
anybody who goes to the Lakers, like,
I
no.
fucking hate the
Dwight
Lakers.
Howard?
Dwight
Ugh.
Howard was championship chasing because he couldn't do it on his own.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you lose in 5 games to in the finals against the Lakers? And what was that? Oh nine. So you had to go
Dwight
run
Howard is
off and
washed, and now
go to
he's on some
multiple
bum
different
ass
teams
team.
until you finally get your ring in the Lakers with a stacked team versus the Heat that nobody saw going like barely to the playoffs, let alone the finals.
You're right. I thought the
Ha
Celtics, I
ha!
will go to my grave saying that the Celtics and the Boston Bruins were teams that were going to the championship rounds for their respective sports until the pandemic hit and it paused everything. But this isn't a sports podcast.
Other than the amazing beer we have gotten out of the pandemic, that was the next best thing was the Heat getting to the finals. I've had
It was
people
not. It was not.
It was. I've had people be like, "Oh, are you upset that the Heat didn't win at all? Are you kidding me? I'm thrilled we made it to the finals. We didn't even make it to the playoffs
So
last
that's
year."
kind of like me being a Packer fan. Yeah, it's great. We keep making the NFC championship game, but at some point it'd be nice to win the fucking Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, we won the finals. What was the last time we won? 24. We won in 2012 and
Forever
2013.
ago. Yeah. Okay. But
2013 is 7 years ago. That's not forever ago.
anyways, I have an existential crisis. Another
Okay,
movie
back
coming
to
out
geek
is The
news.
Many Saints of Newark. I have no
What
idea
is that?
what that's about. It's like, was it a gangs in New York versus like
You don't know what it's about?
Boondock Saints? That's
Boondock
another
Saints
movie.
was amazing.
I know, but this is another movie coming to HBO Max. You have Reminiscence, like I already talked about. You have The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Oh boy. So the Conjuring franchise, I've only seen one of these. The rest of them got crazy. But this is a courtroom drama.
Ugh,
The
courtroom
defend
dramas
no,
suck.
but the courtroom drama entails the defendant is claiming the devil made him do it.
Courtroom dramas are usually terrible. The only good courtroom drama is My Cousin Vinny
Well, this is how
because it's factually accurate as to how you would do things in a court, like make your witness, I forget what the word is. But yeah, show that your witness is not the best witness. And most courtroom
well, I
dramas
mean,
are full of BS.
clearly
Oh
your
my gosh,
witness in
there's
this
you know
one
what
is the
happens when there's
devil.
this do you know what happens when there's a surprise witness? There's a mistrial.
Uh-oh. We have a lawyer, by the way. Hoppy's a lawyer. And so would you let the devil made me do it stand up in court? Because this is gonna be like the
If the
person's gonna
devil
be
made you do it, then you would go for like an insanity plea and they would still end up doing time because you'd end up in some insane asylum. I am not a trial attorney, FYI.
I don't know how this is gonna play out. It's gonna be like the devil made me do it. Oh no. And then the devil's just over there in the corner. You see him like ha 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 creepy. I don't know. This movie, I like I said, I'm not a Conjuring fan personally.
The only
I
devil I like is on Supernatural.
I love the devil and Tenacious D.
Oh,
Which is played
Tenacious
by
D.
I'm pretty sure it's played by oh my god, Dave Grohl. That's
I
who.
was gonna say I'm right on top of that
I'm
rose.
the
Okay.
devil. I love metal. Pew, 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 pew. Anyways, the next movie that we
The
have is
pick
In
of
the
destiny.
Heights. Don't know what that's about either. Then we have Dune. Dune was supposed to release next week, I believe. It's a book. Dennis Villeneuve. He is doing it. It's very highly anticipated. Well, now it's going to come out next year at some point on HBO Max slash movie theaters. Nobody's going to the movie theaters. Let's be honest. Suicide Squad. That movie has been done for like 2 years. So it's about
Wow,
damn
has
time.
it?
Yeah, it's been done since like
Damn.
2018. Because you had the whole James Gunn got fired from Disney, and then he got picked up
Right.
the next day by
Because of a
DC.
tweet from 10 years ago.
Yeah, there was just a style of comedy. So you had him get picked up by DC for Suicide Squad, and then literally the day after he signed on to DC, I think Kevin Feige called him back and was like, "Hey, come back." And so he's like, "Hey, as long as you're cool with me joining DC," which he was, because as comic book lovers, you should want both sides to succeed,
It's
and
like
that's
craft
kind of
beer places support each other.
yes,
Yeah.
support each other. You want these
Hmm.
to succeed because it's amazing for us, the fans who grew up reading this stuff.
Not even
Anyways,
that though. It's a smart business decision. If somebody more so enjoys Suicide Squad, they're going to be like, "Oh, maybe I should give Avengers a chance," and vice versa.
in competition always will breed like if you're competitive, you're always going to put forth your best efforts, is how I feel. And so if Suicide Squad's great, then he's going to go and make Guardians of the Galaxy even better. And you're not going to be so lazy because you feel like you have to compete against the others. And that's just me, the competitor coming out. I'm very competitive. And so that's kind of how I
Now
think.
it's the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. Speaking of, John Cena apparently ate 31 empanadas. I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. But
Empanadas is correct.
yeah, okay.
Empanadas are
Well, he ate
delicious.
31 of them just to get one scene correct in the Suicide Squad because he's Peacemaker. And
That's a lot of
so there's a
what kind of
scene where
empanadas were they?
I
That's a
don't
lot of
know, but
food.
there's a scene where he's eating an empanada and he ate 31. He was like, yeah, I'll sit here and make it perfect. He thought he was going to make it perfect the first try. 31 takes later, he was finally done with the scene. And I'm like, good God, I don't care who you are. That's got to be rough.
Is it bad that now I want empanadas?
I'm hungry as it is. I'm drinking. When I drink, I want to eat. So I could go for some Chick-fil-A personally. But um, instead,
Chick-fil-A.
you're going to get King Richard, which you may think is a
Look
medieval
at this
movie.
cast, though.
It's not a medieval movie. Here's a plot twist. It's about the father of Venus and Serena Williams, starring Will Smith and John Bernthal. I
What?
don't quite understand what there is to tell about the father of Venus and
All right.
Serena.
So The Matrix 4.
Yeah, you got the Matrix. Everybody's returning for that. Don't know how, because if you watch the Matrix series, you had Neo died and then everybody
Dun, dun,
died.
dun.
So we're getting the Matrix 4. That's going to come out. Mortal Kombat. I am wicked excited for this movie. However, we haven't seen a single goddamn thing about this movie. They started filming in like New Zealand. It's James, I think it's James Wan. I could be mistaken. However, nonetheless, it was filming in the Down Under.
Did you ever
Uh
see that Black Mirror when they could like? It wasn't Mortal Kombat, but
oh
they.
no.
Okay,
You're
do you know
talking
what I'm
about the
talking about?
polar bear episode where
The one with Falcon
Black
was in it.
Manta and Falcon bang each other
Yeah.
via VR.
So you have seen that one. Okay,
Of
moving
course I
along.
have. Yeah, they were like, "Oh man, that is an episode."
That was a crazy episode. It was crazy. Yes. If anybody
Yes.
doesn't know what we're talking about, I think Black Mirror is
Anyways, go
still on
watch Black
Netflix. Yeah.
Mirror. We're living Black Mirror these days, but
I know.
it was
Ugh.
cool up until we started living it.
And then people are making those robot things that like move weird that
Yes,
look like
the Air Force
dogs.
has like the
Ugh.
dog, and it's super fucking weird.
Yeah. As soon as I
But
saw it,
we're
I
gonna
thought
get
Black
Mortal
Mirror.
Kombat eventually. We haven't seen a Mortal Kombat movie since the 90s. I loved those movies, number one and two.
Never
Shao
seen them.
Kahn, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage. Oh man, I love the video games. I love the movies. So I can't wait till hopefully they do it right. But again, it was supposed to release in January, but we haven't seen a single thing on this movie. So it's probably not coming out in January. But we'll see.
Probably not.
Anyways, you have Malignant, which is a James Wan film. Again, James Wan is the horror movie master. He also did Aquaman. Um, but we don't know anything about this movie. It's been under wraps. Nobody knows. So that's supposedly coming out.
Knows.
And then we have Those Who Wish Me Dead, which John Bernthal is going to have himself a year, apparently. He's going to be
Because
starring.
he's not doing the Punisher anymore. What else
Look,
is he gonna do?
after we save Daredevil, we need to save the Punisher because he was so
He was
good as the
amazing
Punisher.
as the Punisher.
He was.
And I think I've said this before. You know, him and Tom Holland auditioned together for Punisher and Spidey.
That's right. That's right. I didn't remember that. Well, he's playing opposite of Angelina Jolie in this movie. So
she's still alive.
She is. I know her and Brad Pitt got divorced.
Queen,
they have like 17 kids who are adopted. She was a Maleficent.
They got some that are theirs too.
They do, but nonetheless, yeah, they're starring opposite of each other. I think there may be some other people in this movie. I can't remember right now, but John Bernthal's in it, and I really want to see him back as Punisher. Maybe they bring him back. We'll see.
Other Punisher and Shane. I don't think I've ever seen him as anything other than Shane and the Punisher.
He's in a lot of movies. He was in Sicario. He played like a drug dealer. That's like with Emily Blunt. It has Thanos, Josh Brolin in it. It has, oh my gosh, I forgot his name all of a sudden. but he plays the Collector in
Oh, I
Guardians
know
and
exactly what you're
Avengers.
talking about. I can't
Yeah,
think of his name, but I know
Benicio
who you're
del
talking about. Yeah,
Toro,
yeah.
he's in it.
Yes.
It has a what's his name from Burn Notice. It has a big cast. There's a lot of people in the movie. They're basically hunting drug dealers coming across cartel members. So he's in this movie briefly. Um, I'm not going to spoil anything for that,
All
but
right.
he's in it briefly.
So let's move on. You already mentioned Kenobi. So you got
Speaking of
Jared
things I
Leto.
love, no, speaking
Oh,
of things I love, you have Oscar Isaac is going to play in Metal Gear Solid, the movie. This is a big PlayStation 1 game for me. I played it all the time. It was so much fun. It was like your first kind of hunt and search, and it was a great game. So he's going to be in Metal Gear Solid. Uh yeah, I shared a trailer with you. It was the international trailer for Morbius. I want to forget everything about this movie already. I don't want to remember this movie. It looks so fucking bad.
oh, well, that's not
What are
good.
your thoughts? All right, what are your thoughts first of
I
all
didn't
on
watch the trailer. I really have no thoughts. Because sometimes you send them to me, and I think you're just sending it to me to add to the thing later. Because that's what
Okay,
I
so if I
do.
send it to you through text, it means watch it right now. If I
Okay.
send it through Messenger, it means we're going to talk
Mm,
about it.
right. We'll put it on the
More than
doc.
likely,
Okay.
trailers I'm going to send to you through text. In Morbius, it just looks so bad. Like, first of all, I don't like Jared Leto. He's creepy.
No,
He's
he's in
30
that
Seconds to
too.
Mars suck. And he's just
Wait, I'm confused. So Jared, the Morbius thing is Jared Leto's Spider-Man thing.
so the rumor is that Jared Leto might come into the Sinister Six movie that they might be making for the Spider-Man universe. It's a Sony movie.
Oh,
He's playing Morbius, which if you know, Morbius is like a scientist. He turns himself into like a vampire essentially. And he's kind of a Spider-Man villain for a bit. He's in love with Felicia Harding, who is a Spider-Man love interest, Peter Parker. And they're gonna shove everybody and anyone into this Spider-Man movie, which rolls into we have Alfred Molina coming back as Otto Octavius. You have Kirsten Dunst coming back allegedly.
wait. So is he part of this whole MCU thing though that's going on?
So MCU, no, but what's been said is that Spider-Man is going back to Sony strictly after this movie. It was a split. So Marvel's putting on this movie, Sony's reaping the benefits, and they're going to take the character back. And so they're setting up like a Spider-Man universe where he's Morbius. You have Venom with Tom Hardy, and then they
Right.
might be doing other things. They were talking about other movies, like a Black Cat, Silver Cat, whatever. Uh, but not a lot are taking off because if Marvel's not touching Spider-Man, it's not going to succeed. I don't care who you cast. Sony does not know how to
No.
make these movies. And
Right.
so, yeah, you have Otto Octavius is coming back with Alfred Molina from Spider
See,
Man
I guess
2.
I thought they were all coming back under kind of MCU with the whole Doctor Strange and bringing in other
Well, Doctor Strange is
universes.
in it. You have Kirsten Dunst, Toby Maguire, I'm sorry, and
We
Andrew
all know.
Garfield are coming back.
But
I
that's I'm
I don't
hoping
know how
we
they're
get
going to
more
do this.
information on this tomorrow. By the time
Yeah,
this episode's
I hope we
released,
do because I
yeah,
don't know how you're going to add all these characters. I feel like they're just ham fisting characters in because Sony's like, we need this, we need that, but it's bullshit. Like
like
you
Sony,
don't.
you're making off the money off the MCU. Let them do what they need to do and just reap the
Yeah, it doesn't
benefits.
make any sense. Like Doctor Strange makes sense, sure, but
Right.
all these other characters just shoved into a movie. I feel like we
Maybe they
haven't
still have
really.
to make the
Well,
movie.
we
I don't know.
haven't
They did great with
gotten.
Spider-Verse.
They did, but we haven't gotten a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie where he's just a teenager figuring out how to balance his teenage life and Spider-Man. Because at the end of the day, Spider-Man,
Homecoming.
not even though. I don't really because there was something bigger because you had Tony Stark created Vulture. I want
Well,
I want Peter
Tony Stark
Parker.
created all the
I want
villains.
Peter Parker to have his own movie where it really feels like he's swinging through New York. He is creating like his own problems. He's handling it all himself. Iron Man doesn't have anything to do
But I
with
guess
it.
we've seen that enough, though. Like, we don't need to see Uncle Ben die
No,
again.
well, I'm not saying even Uncle Ben dying again. I just want to see what Tom Holland can do as Peter Parker and Spider Man on their own without going to Europe, without bringing in Iron Man, without bringing anybody else in.
Like
Because
him dealing with his own shit.
yeah, we haven't gotten that. It's all been a part of the Avengers kind of universe, and that's cool and
Right.
all. But at the same time, is we want to see Spider-Man. Like, give me a Marvel Universe Spider-Man where he's dealing with his own problems.
Right. Where he's not relying on somebody else.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get that. I doubt it. It kind of seems like Spider-Man's going to be gone after this movie. I hope not. I really hope
You
not.
know, Tom Holland, though, I heard, like, because they, they seems like they come to a, head-butting kind of
Yeah,
situation quite often. It seems like Tom Holland actually is the one that saved the situation recently and,
agreed.
and
Maybe
got
he can
Spidey
be like, "Hey,
back.
I'm not signing a contract without being in Marvel." And
Right.
who
Because
knows? Anything can
he's,
change. Anything can change.
it's just so crazy. I mean, I would have given anything, not anything, but, I would have given anything to see Wolvie in the MCU, years ago, even with, I feel like there's two things that would have made Endgame better, and I think I've said this on here before, is having one of the circles be the Defenders.
Yep.
I'm sorry, three things. What? I'm like the jerk.
I
I
have
just need this
7
remote, and I
things
just
that
need.
I
Yeah.
need right
It's
now.
gonna keep. I'm Steve Martin. So I just need to see a circle with the Defenders and a circle with like Daisy, and then a circle with like Logan and Deadpool. That's all I need. That's all I need.
Well, Deadpool's going to be a part of it somehow. Not this
Yes.
movie, but he is a part of
Right.
the.
And hopefully with I just know that whenever Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, it's very tolling because it's a lot of work.
Right.
And the first time he was Wolverine was 20 years ago. That's crazy.
Right.
And Ryan Reynolds too. I mean, that's got to be a toll on him. But at the same time, he can put a mask on and have somebody be a stunt double and still deliver his smart ass lines and be fine.
Yeah, very much.
But
Speaking
anyway,
of, we have Michelle Pfeiffer. She's also coming back in the next Ant-Man installment, which begins filming in the spring, I think, is what they
she's
say.
still
Anyways,
Catwoman to me.
yeah, I can't get used to her in anything else like a comic book movie, but she's gonna be back. Ant-Man movies are my favorite Marvel movies personally. I love everything about them. The first one more than the second one, but yeah, she's coming back.
I still, when I always think of the line when she was Catwoman, "Honey, I'm home." Oh yeah, I forgot I'm not married. But I did see all those movies are on HBO Max. So I was telling my oldest daughter last night, like, I want to watch all of these with you. I haven't watched them in years, and I grew up
Right.
watching them. So usually that stuff doesn't get done in December because it's all Christmas here. But come January, I want to watch all those with her. But yeah, I don't really have much news. I know you were all about the news this week. Marvel's doing a
News.
new comic series on Alien since Disney now
Oh
owns
hell
Fox.
yes.
They now own Alien and they're able to do that, which I honestly thought they already did own Alien because they've clearly had stuff going on with Fox for a while. Because if you've ever been to Hollywood Studios or MGM and the Great Movie Ride, Alien was part of that.
Hmm.
So Marvel has also another new comic called Vitals, and this is actually pretty cool. It's all about real life stories about medical professionals because not all heroes wear capes. A lot of them wear scrubs,
Check
especially
out
today.
Nurses on NBC at 7 p.m. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, see, I was about to give a shout out to your wife who wears scrubs and works at a hospital, and then you went, "Oh, I don't know what that was."
I, I have
But
no idea.
super thanks to all the people wearing scrubs these days and going the extra mile. And I love that Marvel's actually teaming up with health professionals and making this comic. So that's pretty
In this
cool.
case, Scrubs is the kind that get love from us. Even
Yes.
if you're hanging out
Zoom,
the
zoom,
passenger side of your
zoom.
best friend's ride, trying to holler
Trying
at
to
me.
holler at me. All right. So I combined two scrubs things there because I was also doing a little Zach Braff.
Oh,
That's what whenever Jay on Hops
love
News,
that
he's talking
show.
about Zoom and I do the zoom, zoom, zoom. I can't help it. That's Zach Braff.
Love that show. They have a podcast. Turk and
Do
JD have a
they?
podcast. They do.
When you gotta love Turk because he goes all the way back to Clueless.
He does. He does.
Okay, and my last bit of news was what we've already mentioned 17
Investor Day
times.
tomorrow.
Yep.
We're gonna have
And
a
we will
lot of
have,
news. You've already heard it, I'm sure.
right.
Whatever.
Good, because
Hear
then
it
we can talk
again.
about Harry Potter less.
You're. First of all, how dare you?
Now to our main topic. Yippee ki motherfucker.
It isn't Christmas without
Hans
eggnog,
Gruber.
without Christmas cookies, without Santa Claus, maybe a Christmas tree, maybe decorating your lights outside. But it is not Christmas unless you have Hans Gruber falling off the Nakatomi Tower and Bruce Willis spraying and praying his Christmas cheer all over that place, running barefoot through glass. We are talking about Die Hard 1. We are talking about Die Hard 2. They're Christmas movies. They're Christmas movies. I don't care what you say. You can fight me.
They are.
I
They
don't
are.
recommend it. I'm old and fragile, but
He's 30, folks. He's 30.
I'm old and fragile.
See,
Stand by
that's
it.
another supernatural thing. He takes part in a poker game and he's suddenly 80 and he's like, when you get to our age, they're like, you're
Exactly.
30, Dean.
Listen,
30's young.
argue me all you want. Die Hard's a Christmas movie,
Oh, it is.
and it is.
But
it is
if you're not that fragile,
I am.
you're
Anyways,
30.
Die Hard, Die Hard 1.
1988.
1988 movie that follows former TV star Bruce Willis, because he was a TV star who they hesitated heavily on for this role. He was like their last choice. Actually, Frank Sinatra was actually their first choice for John McClane because he played a similar role as somebody like this, but they settled on Bruce.
Well, they didn't want him, but they were legally obliged to ask Frank Sinatra first.
Weird. I have always thought he's been dead since the 40s in my head. That's not the case.
You know, when I learned that, I felt the same way. Like, how the hell was he still alive in the 80s?
This man's been
Because to
dead
me-
forever.
Right. He did White Christmas and then instantly died.
Yeah, that's in my head. Frank Sinatra has been dead since the 40s. So
Right.
Frank Sinatra and family, apologize.
He's probably still alive.
But
Have we confirmed he's dead?
No, he's definitely dead, right?
Oh,
Frank
I have
Sinatra
no
Jr.'s
idea.
Regardless, it follows
Wasn't
John
he-
McClane,
I'm
who
gonna
is
find out.
coming to visit his wife. Marriage is on the rocks, and he's coming out to
He's
LA.
living in New York. She's
He's
living
a
in
New York
LA.
cop. She's in LA working. He's coming out to visit her. Marriage is on the rocks, and some German terrorists take.
Damn, he died in
with her.
1998.
Damn, that's later than I thought.
And he was only
then.
82
Wow.
of a heart attack.
I was the ripe age of 8 years old. Cheers, Frank.
98, I was in high school.
Holy shit. Anyways. Yeah. So
I was a freshman, but geez.
We kind of start through like John McClane flashing his gun and everything on the plane, and you're like,
that's not an
Jamal.
euphemism. No, on the plane. Oh, on the plane.
what the fuck? Like, you could just carry whatever you wanted on these planes prior to 9/11.
Right. Well, and we go into more of that when you talk about Die Hard too. Like the one lady has
yeah,
a
we're gonna
taser.
talk about that shit. Old grandma was packing heat.
Mhm.
You have one of the big problems I have initially is you have Fabio like putting a chainsaw through these pipes to cut the communications. That chainsaw is not cutting through these pipes. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just not manly enough, but this guy's just cutting through pipes. I don't know. It was ridiculous to me.
Well, let's talk real quick though about all the Die Hard movies though. I just want to touch real quick. So we have 88, we have The Die Hard. 1990 is Die Hard 2, Die Harder. And those are the two we're going to focus
I
on.
can't die harder. I'm already dead.
That's what my daughter, I had it on and she's like, isn't he already dead? Didn't he die in the first one?
John McClane will never die. Bruce Willis and his angry, grumpy old man self will live
John
forever.
McClane had plans. Okay, so 95 we have Die Hard with a Vengeance. That's the puzzle one with Samuel L. Jackson. And then 2007 we have Live Free or Die Hard with Justin Long, Timothy Olyphant, who we've seen in Mandalorian. And that's the one that focuses on his daughter. And then we have 2013, Good Day to Die Hard, and that's with his son. It's in another country. I think it's Russia.
It is.
It was believed that this was their attempt to pass the torch on, but it failed miserably because the son did a terrible job. And John McClane or Bruce Willis is still more badass than that actor. But also, I guess there was talks of another Die Hard movie that was going to happen, and then it got killed when Fox merged with Disney. But now there are rumors, nothing confirmed yet, that Hulu or Disney Plus will have some sort of streaming season with John McClane.
Let's be honest, Bruce Willis, I don't get it, because Bruce Willis should never have to act again. He, from all accounts of what I've heard, he's like the grumpiest, angriest old man who shows up and literally does nothing on set. I don't know why he continues to be an actor if he hates everything so much.
Maybe he likes being grumpy. I don't know.
I don't know. But if they're going to do a TV show, like, how much are you paying for this TV show where grumpy, angry old man Bruce Willis shows up to do nothing?
Well, they made 2 movies called Grumpy Old Men. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was actually entertaining.
But now we can move on to the Christmas movies.
Yeah. Anyways, Bruce Willis, I just want to know, why are you so angry?
All
And
right,
why do you continue
chainsaw.
to act?
Maybe because he's not married to Demi Moore anymore.
That's old news. He's been remarried. I don't know. Anyways,
Oh yeah, he's
Alan
got like more kids and shit. Okay, I don't know.
Alan Rickman's amazing in this movie.
German
This is
Fabio. I
like,
like that.
well, yeah. I mean, you got like their brothers. They're running around. They get their long hair. They're like making jokes, and then he's like, "I'm nobody kills him but me," in my Arnold Schwarzenegger German Fabio impression.
Well, I love
And
the one Fabio guy that is like with the long, obviously the long blonde hair, and he was like, he's a professional ballerina.
is he really?
Yeah, the one
Oh
guy
my
that even at
god,
the very end was still alive. If
that's him.
you
Yeah.
I was going to mention this at the end, but if you haven't seen like some of the fun facts I got today, if you go onto Netflix, movies that made us, there's one about Die Hard, and you can actually see clips of this guy like full out
I
ballerinaing, and
picture
he
him as
is
like an NFL
amazing.
player, just because he looks so
Oh
massive
my,
in the movie and
he's
he moves so
amazing.
graceful.
Just Google like Die Hard actor ballerina. He is absolutely
Well,
amazing.
Fabio, props to you. You can ballerina and you can act angry
Murder, yeah.
and murder innocents.
But I mean, you got to be strong to be a dude ballerina because you're like throwing those girls around and stuff. So it's like
And your feet, God.
I mean, they got to have muscles everywhere. So it's like it's no joke.
True. It is
Um,
true. But
so yeah.
um I also like how he totally kills Fabio 1 after he's getting thrashed. Like John McClane's getting his ass beat after trying to start a fight.
Thrashed. I picture like a scene from
Well,
Jaws,
they're
like
like fighting and then
thrashed.
like fall down the stairs and then you hear and he breaks his neck, I guess is what's in.
Thrashed involves water, though, doesn't it?
No,
Yes,
not at all.
it does.
Anyways, John
Thrasher.
McClane was getting his ass beat and then
John
somehow he comes
McClane
out on
had
top.
plans.
Perhaps the greatest moment is aside from the obvious end scene there is ho ho ho. Now I have a machine gun.
How can you say it's not a Christmas movie when that is like literally
Yeah,
written
sorry.
in the
The
movie?
actual quote is now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho. And it's the worst mannequin on earth. That's obviously a mannequin sitting there in the chair dead, playing dead. And he's got the Santa hat, he's got the Christmas sweater written on it. That's a Christmas movie in my book. It is a
Yep.
Christmas movie at that point.
It is a
Is it
Christmas
not?
movie. I honestly, I truly feel like the whole movie is a Christmas movie. I mean, it's a Christmas party.
It's a Christmas
There's machine
party.
gun thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't understand why
He
it's
says ho
a
ho ho.
right. Like I understand saying like Iron Man 3 is not a Christmas movie or Shazam's not a Christmas movie, but like Die Hard is.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie, and so is the second. They make a point of emphasis to be like it's Christmas Eve or whatever multiple
The
times.
second one, right, they do mention a lot. The second one I do think is, but I don't think it's as much as the first one. I feel like the second one they kept adding snow, and we'll get into that in a minute. Let's finish the first one and
Oh, it
then
was
I'll put
totally fake. But
yeah.
the dispatchers, they are so ungodly inept. Like, sir, this is a prank call, blah blah. There's gunfire going off in the background, and they're like, I don't know if this is accurate or not. And it's like,
Like what kind of
holy
movie are you
shit, guys.
filming?
This is you guys are so inept at your jobs. Why are you actually doing this job? Fun fact is Bruce Willis has permanent hearing damage because they were using blanks that were too loud and they accidentally fired him too close to his ears. So he has permanent hearing damage from this movie.
I'm sure he
I,
doesn't regret it. It set off his movie career. He was
yeah,
only a
he was a
TV star
TV
before
star
that.
before this. Like he was like a romantic comedy,
With
happy-go-lucky TV star.
Moonlighters with Chandler's dad.
Yeah, and now this set off like his action hero
Yeah.
status, and that's what he's known for.
Right.
Um,
So I'm actually going to go backwards a little bit. So the movie was actually based off a book called Nothing Lasts Forever, but in the book it was like a 60-year-old dude
such
and
my
like his
love.
daughter ends up like falling off of a building at the end and she passes away or she dies. So they were like, well, we can't have an old dude play this part. We have to find somebody younger. But legally, they were, like I mentioned before, they were legally required to offer it to Sinatra because he was part of the guy that wrote this book, wrote the first one, and Sinatra played the main guy, was like detective or something like that. So and
Again,
Sinatra
Frank
knew they
Sinatra
wanted Sinatra
died
to
when
say
he
no,
was like
and
in
Sinatra
a.
was like, "I'm too old. I'm getting too old for this shit." And they also did offer it though to Burt Reynolds, Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they all said no. So they did offer to. They didn't want Bruce Willis to play this part. Um,
Anybody but Bruce.
right, because he just had this like role as this goofy love interest on a TV show. And he was actually endorsing a wine cooler at the time when he was cast. So Moonlighting is the movie, or is the TV show. I think I said, did I say Moonlighting before? If I didn't, I
Dancing
said
in the
something similar.
moonlight.
He hadn't had a good movie yet, though. So this is a super random fun fact. So we all know the main cop guy outside. His name's, to me, is Carl,
Yeah,
because
he
he's
was.
from Family
Well, I was gonna
Matters.
say he's Carl.
Yes. So when he auditioned
Can
for
I
that
do
part,
that?
Wesley Snipes was there auditioning for the same role. So he decided to take a different approach to it when he did
We
that.
could have stopped Wesley Snipes from evading taxes if we just gave him the part as a cop.
Nobody was stopping Wesley Snipes from evading taxes. I'll do that last. So the building was not completely done being built, the Nakatomi Tower. So Die Hard got the floors that were not yet complete. While filming the movie, though, in the building, there were people working on floors that were complete, and they were very annoyed by the gunfire.
Yeah, they were.
No machine guns were allowed until after 5, but then the neighbors started complaining. So yeah, they had a rough time filming this. Well, they had an extra rough time filming this because nobody had any faith in this movie. They all thought it was going to be terrible. They didn't have faith in Bruce Willis. In fact, the movie posters had Bruce Willis in them, and after the first trailer, people were literally booing the trailer. So then they took Bruce Willis off the movie posters.
Trailer for things hold on.
Yes. And they laughed at it and they booed it, I guess in their focus group things. And then after the movie came out and it started doing so good, word of mouth, then they put Bruce Willis back on the poster. For a little bit, they just had the Nakatomi Plaza Tower.
Huh.
So, but yeah, got good reviews. Yeah, that's still. I mean, I don't know if you ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding. You've never seen that movie.
It has never piqued my interest.
It's hilarious. That movie literally got so big based on word of mouth. It was in the theater for longer than the average movie of that kind of movie. I guess it would be considered a romantic comedy. But it is hilarious. And it was literally just word of mouth. They didn't do much advertising. Unfortunately, the main actress who wrote it and starred in it, they then did another one and it tanked. But
yeah,
the first one's really
sequel,
good.
Wasn't it? And nobody cared because
I don't think I didn't ever even saw the sequel. But I saw
How
the
dare
first
you
one.
not see the sequel?
Well, the first one had great reviews. I didn't see it right away, but I did see it and it was really good. But it was kind of in that way, just word of mouth kind of got it out that it was really good. Hans Gruber's look of fear when he's falling off the tower. I don't think this is a spoiler because this movie came out in 1988. And if you're listening to this, you sure as hell should have seen this movie.
Motherfucker.
And even if you still haven't, you still should. So they released Hans Gruber or Alan Rickman on 2 rather than 3. So his
it was actually 1. They said.
Oh, was it 1?
It was 1.
Nice. So his look of falling was genuine because he was not ready.
Of terror.
Yes. And I mean, obviously he didn't fall to his death. He fell on a bunch of
metaphorically in the movie he fell to his death.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, I think
it's the perfect action movie, in my opinion. It's the perfect action movie.
Well, no, the perfect movie is Con Air.
Oh God, don't even get me started. I will talk all night about Nicolas Cage and Con Air, which he's coming back about the origin of swear words on Netflix, by the way.
Interesting. I don't want to talk about Con Air, but yes, that is the best
this movie is like the
time.
perfect action movie. It has comedy, a lot more F words than I remember.
Oh, and they had to blow up the top of the building, and so they actually recreated the top of the building. It's a toy, and they exploded it because they were given 2 hours. Now I'm not even reading this anymore. I'm trying to remember. So they were given 2 hours basically on a Saturday night to make it like they were blowing up the building with the helicopter because they had to have the escape, and very quickly the local police were like, you can't do this is dangerous. So they rebuilt the top of the tower and blew it up like toys, and it looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing.
It does. You can't even tell, and it's all John McClane running shoeless. Bruce Willis.
And there were times he had fake feet over his feet because he was walking
running on glass.
Right.
They actually had his John McClane attire at a Planet Hollywood in Orlando. I only know that.
Oh, the one at Disney. Yeah.
I went to that because I don't know why I hate myself, but I went to that.
They have
And they
lots
had
of good
stuff.
ones at the downtown Disney one. They have the book from Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I love Planet Hollywood just for the props. The food is generic, but the
Oh, the
props are
food's worse than Applebee's.
right. But I like
And
the
Mash hates
props.
Applebee's.
I hate Applebee's and Chili's. Applebee's and Chili's. Ugh. If you go
I
there,
don't.
you
I
hate
yeah, their
yourself.
food's way better than
Fucking
Planet
awful.
Hollywood. I think I've eaten at Planet Hollywood at Disney maybe twice.
I like again.
I
I
mean,
like to go there just because of the props.
right, but you can walk through there and not eat there. They'll let you do that. It's fine.
Good. You shouldn't eat there. Don't eat at Planet Hollywood.
Next
Just
time you go to downtown Disney, which in Orlando is now called Disney Springs for some stupid reason, is
gotta make
City
it hip.
Works. City Works Eatery has like 100,
Ooh, I
maybe
went to that
80
moo place, which is
taps.
sushi and cheeseburgers.
Which one?
It's outside Universal. It's like sushi and cheeseburgers.
Oh yeah, that place is
Ah,
good.
I love that place. Sushi and cheeseburgers.
It's
God,
like a cow and a
fuck.
fish on the label. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's
also
cowfish. That's what it's called. It's called cowfish.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
So right near there, they also have a place that looks like they brew beer, but apparently
Oh, that's
those
right. They do.
big
Yeah.
silos are in those. Yeah, they're fake.
Oh, I
They
need to
get a
go
lot of
there.
really good craft beer options, but they're not brewing shit there. I think
That
it's like owned by
sucks.
NBC or
There's like that
something.
giant escalators, movie theater. Ah, I love that place.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But no, downtown Disney, Eatery Works or something. They have lots of good beer on tap. It's right near the Marvel and Star Wars store, and
huh?
it's over near where
I hate
that
you.
end part where
I wish I lived
Blues.
there again so bad. I hate you.
You still never lived in Orlando though. You lived far.
Yeah, but I would drive there tomorrow if I had the chance.
Just start driving now. It's gonna take you a lot
It's gonna take
longer.
me a while. We have Die Hard 2. Speaking of,
Yes, I thought there was one more thing I wanted to say about Die Hard 1, and I don't remember. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. So the escape at the end,
oh
the
boy,
bad guys have to have a plan to escape. So they're
course they
like, well,
do. An
let's just say there was
ambulance.
an ambulance in the back of the truck. And they're like, yeah, great, that works. Perfect. But if at the beginning, then when they rewatched it, they're like, oh shit, you can see there's no ambulance in the back of the truck when the bad guys are walking out of it. And they're the
Mm.
main people's response to like when they're like, if these people are really concerned about that 2 hours after they're into this movie, like fuck them. So yes, if you go back and watch that movie, the big truck, there's no ambulance in there, just bad guys walking out, and at the end, all of a sudden, an ambulance comes. Maybe it's an Ant-Man thing. Maybe Michelle Pfeiffer's in the back of the truck, and she's like,
Maybe,
"Whoop!" and then an ambulance just gets really big.
maybe. Um,
So
Die
John
Hard 2.
McClane had plans, and let's move on to his
I
plans
forgot
in
this
Die Hard 2.
movie.
When I
Honestly,
say John McClane had plans, do you know what I'm talking about?
no.
I'm talking about Friends. When they're watching Die Hard, and he's
Not
like,
a
"Oh,
Friends
did you get?"
fan.
Oh, I thought you were.
No, I'm How I Met Your
And he's like,
Mother is
"Oh, you
not
didn't buy
Friends.
Die Hard 2. You got Die Hard again." And then he's like, "I gotta go. I have plans." And he's like, "Well, John McClane had plans.
See, to be
Die
fair,
Hard, baby."
I always forget that Die Hard 2 actually happened, and I always thought that the sequel was with Samuel L. Jackson. That's the third
That is
one.
incorrect. Yep.
This movie, it is a lot to unpack. John McClane's in Washington, D.C. He's meeting his wife, who is flying in from
And they're both
LA.
now living in LA. He did transfer to LAPD to be with
Yes, he
his wife and
did.
kids.
They are together before they decide that divorce is the best
I
option.
know.
in
I don't know
later
why they had to
movies.
get them divorced. Like, that was stupid.
I don't know. Anyways, the cop is a dick at the beginning. He's like, I'm towing your car anyways.
He's from like NYPD or some shit.
He's in a bunch of stuff. He also pops up back in this movie as the one cop's brother. Also, why is
Oh,
old
we have a
dude-
future presidential candidate in this movie.
We do?
Yeah.
Who?
Was it Thompson? Hold on, I'll look it up.
I don't know. Anyways, why is old dude naked? He's just doing karate naked in his room. He's often a bad guy. He plays a bad guy in a lot of movies. He kind of just has that face. He's the general, a lot of American traitors in this movie. One thing I really loved was that Granny was packing heat, which is her taser and her purse. She's like, I always got one of these on me. And she's like, I love technology, because phones in a plane were new technology back then.
They're
and
so
just like,
cheesy.
"Oh my
Everything was like,
God."
it's the 90s. It's
Yeah,
the
they're like,
90s.
oh, it's the 90s. This is the greatest thing ever. Here's a phone in flight. And now it's like, fuck, I can watch YouTube or whatever in flight. And it's incredible where we're at now. Bruce Willis is just angry again and hates everything these days. I'm gonna keep saying that until Bruce Willis cheers up a little bit.
I never knew he was sad. I've always liked him.
Kevin Kevin Smith said he was not a pleasure to work with.
Fred Thompson. He was a
He was a
senator. He
presidential
ran for
candidate.
president. Yeah, he didn't win he wasn't the
Well, of
candidate for that
course not,
party, but
but
he did run. Yeah.
I don't remember who runs for what.
I think he ran when I was younger. I don't think it was any election I could
Well,
vote
that's probably why.
on.
Is it was probably long before I cared about politics.
But yeah, well, he was an actor.
Huh? Ronald
Um,
Reagan was an actor.
he's one of the main guys. He's like, oh, we're gonna do this and da 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 da. He was a good guy
Huh?
in the movie.
Interesting. Well,
I'm not saying he's a bad guy in real
can we
life.
talk
I'm
about
just
how
saying.
easy it was to go anywhere and do anything in an airport or an airplane in the 90s? Kids these days won't understand you can walk right up to the gate without a ticket or security.
I remember having family members meet us as soon as we got off the plane.
Yeah, as soon as you get off the plane, there's like,
Yeah.
I love you. But like in this movie, is like John McClane's running through the airport.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, I used to
unlock
love that.
this
I remember
door.
getting off the plane at Christmas time in like Rhode Island and relatives meeting us. That was really cool.
Yeah, it was insane. It's a lawless time. You will obviously aren't going to get that these days because of everything that's happened in the last 20 years.
No, it all changed after 9/11.
There was a time where you can just walk right up to a gate and be like, hi, mom. Hi, whomever.
Yeah.
And
Well, my daughter flew on a plane by herself about a year ago. She was a month shy of 16, and I had to get a special pass to walk her to the gate.
huh.
But
I
yeah,
didn't
that's
even
the
know they did
only.
that.
Yeah, well, if they're under 18, they will actually, hell, it might have been under 16. But like, I remember my parents, my mom lived in Jacksonville and my dad lived in Fort Lauderdale, and they would fly us back and forth on Continental, but they had to sign for us like a package. So
What
my
the
mom
hell?
would literally walk to the gate and meet the flight attendant that would literally deliver us to my dad. And I remember my dad signing for us like a package and then doing it to go back home. It was like $99 each way.
Huh.
So for $200, my parents didn't have to drive or spend money on gas, and they could fly us back and forth from Jacksonville to Fort Lauderdale.
Huh.
So yeah, it was a brief period of time where one parent lived there and the other lived there. But I don't know how that exactly that would work now, but I was surprised that I had to get a special pass and all that. But I remember a time when I didn't have to take my shoes off.
Yeah, I barely remember any of that. And John McClane's just running through these airports. He's opening doors. He's in the baggage area where it's like, oh, my badge must be on a flight to Cleveland. And it's just a lawless time.
A lawless. Well, he is a cowboy. Yippee ki That came from Roy Rogers.
Oh, and that he even calls himself in the first movie, by the way, he
They
refers to
mentioned that,
himself
yeah.
as Roy Rogers. He's like,
Well,
I'm Roy.
he's like, oh, you're a cowboy.
Huh. Well, yeah, this movie planes blow up very easily. As somebody who works with jet fuel or did, it doesn't quite work that way. You can't just light fire in the snow and it's not gonna travel all the way up into the air. That's not how this works.
Well, shit. How am I going to stop the next terrorist attack?
Not by that, and that's not how it works. But planes, they blow up easily. I forgot this movie again, and I forgot how dark it gets. They blow up an entire plane full of people. I'm like, holy shit. Like that got really dark there for a minute.
I don't mean to laugh. That sounds terrible.
Well, it's
I'm
awful,
just
but I was like,
surprised you
I honestly
didn't remember
forgot.
any of
I
that.
forgot again. This movie doesn't exist. Sam Jackson is in the sequel, which he technically kind of is.
The threequel. He's in the third one.
Yeah, I forgot this movie existed for a while.
But yeah, after these two, there's no Christmas involved, which is kind of a shame.
I wish they would have kept the Christmas theme because the first two movies took place on Christmas, so why not continue?
Right. Both on Christmas Eve. I did love,
Right.
though, that they make multiple references to, like, why does this keep happening? That's like Holly makes those references, and so does John McClane. And because in the first one, the few lines that they let Bruce Willis just kind of ad lib and they allowed into the movie were big hits. So come the
Right.
second one, they let him kind of ad lib a lot. But he actually did not love the fact that the second one mirrored the first one so well.
Huh.
And I think we made a brief comment about this before, was the snow was all fake. So they wanted to film in Colorado and there was somewhere else they were going to film. And I guess this is ironic. Alanis Morissette doesn't know what ironic is, but this is actual ironic. They picked these places intentionally because they had snow that time of year, and there was no snow that time of year. It was unseasonably warm, so they had to actually bring in like snow blowers from ski resorts to get the snow.
Huh.
So
Even
I
though it's like
guess
Denver, Colorado, and you expect, well,
right.
Denver's weather is so weird. Living out here 12 hours away from Denver, it's like one day it's snow, one day it's 70 degrees. And I didn't realize just how much it changed.
But I guess the specific airport they picked, I think it was Denver, that there should have been snow, but they had to improvise. There was somewhere else they said they filmed too. I don't remember if it was Oregon or somewhere else, but that time of year there should have been snow and there just wasn't. Um,
Global
but
warming.
I'm guessing that they were going for more of like a Christmas kind of feel. But to me, I feel like the first one is way more
Yeah,
Christmas
this
than the
one had
second
nothing to
one.
do with Christmas other than them saying, like, it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas. It's my wife's plane. She's
Right.
flying in for Christmas.
Okay.
In
I'm glad to hear you
every
say that because I thought that that was maybe because I don't feel any need for snow to be associated with
No, it
Christmas.
was it was they just mentioned Christmas. Other than that, you would not have known that it was Christmas.
But yeah, I think the last fun fact I have is when Fred Thompson's airport manager realizes the peril the planes are in. That's the guy that ran for president and was a senator. He says that we only have 58 minutes to avert disaster. Die Hard 2 is actually based on a novel called 58 Minutes.
Books and movies.
Books and movies.
Well, that's all we
Oh,
have for Die Hard.
do we say Yippee Ki Mr. Falcon?
Do we?
If you've ever seen Die Hard on a station that is not allowed to say motherfucker, it is Yippee Ki Mr. Falcon. That was like the
I don't
code
know.
name
I've
for the
never
bad
really
guy in the
like
first movie.
caught that, but no, we'll give a yippee ki Mr. Falcon.
It just
So
makes me think of Anthony Mackie
yes, yes, yippee ki Mr. Falcon
and Bucky.
and Bucky.
But yeah,
Yippee ki in general.
Yippee Ki motherfucker! It's so much
Um,
fun to say.
I don't know if we want to, but being how next week is the final week for the Mandalorian, do we want to just?
We only have one left.
We have this week. We have next week.
Oh,
So
okay.
do we want to just?
You can go
Like,
in. I mean, what happened this week? We met.
all right, all right.
We didn't meet anybody.
We haven't met anybody new necessarily,
Boba
but
Fett, where?
we have a little Mandalorian. We'll talk a little Mandalorian, and it's Boba Fett shows up. So Mando and
So did Melinda
Grogu
May.
show up
Oh
at
wait,
the
spoilers. Leave now.
Tython. They show up at Tython. And so Grogu starts doing his whole Jedi thing. Mando's like, what the hell, dude? We got to go. Because Boba Fett shows up. And so does Fennec,
With
which you
Melinda
remember
May.
from the very first episode of the season. Well, she survived. She's kind of like robotic. And Boba Fett's like, dude, give me back my armor. I'm Mandalorian. Your religion's basically whack. Why? You don't need to keep your helmet on. Don't be stupid. And so he wants it. They get into a little tiff, and then the Empire shows back up. Stormtroopers pop off, and Boba sees the Razor Crest, and he grabs his armor and starts just killing every single Imperial stormtrooper. Like, holy shit! Like, if you were like me and Boba Fett was never a badass to you, because why would he be up until this point? You were like, okay, cool. And then he started killing everybody, and you're like, this is what I've been waiting for.
I still think after watching the Christmas, like I didn't understand Boba Fett at all in the movies because it was like, okay, clearly he's not a great guy. He's on the other side, and then that's it. But then in the Christmas special, he's a total dick. I get he's a cartoon, but he's a
Yeah.
dick.
Well, so you have
And
to
now we're
watch
supposed
like
to like
Clone
him.
Wars. Clone Wars.
He's a little kid.
He's a kid, but you get some more background into
But you
him.
look at Anakin, he's a little kid too.
Again, with Clone Wars, you get some background in Anakin too. And so you
They
kind of
still
get some like, this is who he is. At the end of the episode, Boba's like, yeah, my father was a foundling. He was a Mandalorian. He
like my
fought the
father
Civil
before
War.
me.
Well, he says the thing. He was
He
like,
says the
this,
line.
I'm just a man, simple man making his way through the galaxy. And hello, Jango Fett said that. So yeah, he's Mandalorian. This confirms it. Boba's a badass. Grogu gets taken by the Empire. I'm calling them the Empire because Boba's like, they're back. The Empire, they're back. And we don't really know what to call them because they're not quite the
Yeah, but
First
he was
Order
like
yet.
for them, though.
He lives by his
I
own
don't trust
code.
him. I
He's a
trust
bounty
Melinda
hunter.
May.
He's a bounty hunter. He
I think
was working for himself. He didn't
what's her
care
name
who
in
was
Star
signing his
Wars?
checks.
Melinda May. What's the girl's name?
Oh, is that Rose?
No,
No.
not Rose.
I'm sorry. You're thinking Fennec. I think her name.
Yeah, okay. So Fennec. I trust her. I don't know why. I mean, maybe because she's
you've seen
Mulan and Melinda
her.
May, but
Yeah.
she always plays a good character. So I trust her.
I trust Boba.
Don't trust
Boba's
him.
always had his
I don't
own
trust
code
Boba.
to live by. If you watch the Clone Wars, I've been telling you, you're going to eventually watch the Clone Wars and you're going to see things my way.
I'm trying, man.
He kind of has his own. Just watch the final episode, just do that.
Yeah, you did say that. All right.
Please just watch the final episode and it'll probably have you hooked and you'll be curious, but also just do it for my sake and
do it for you.
Boba. Yeah. He's always had his own
Hoppy.
kind of, so we have like where we got Mando, we have Boba, we have Fennec. They're going to go through the galaxy. I think we're going to see Ahsoka again. You're probably going to see a Jedi pop up. It's probably going to be Ezra Bridger, and they're going for Bill Burr, his character. They got to go find Bill Burr's character now. Which is
I didn't know that he
hates
was
Star Wars.
I did not know that. I actually shared that on our stories today on the Geek page.
He hates Star
Wars.
I
did not know that at all. And they said, he's like, I'm not and it doesn't surprise me having seen his stand up. It doesn't surprise me in the least bit. But they're like, well, we think that might bring an interesting perspective.
Well, I mean, just because you hate something, I would definitely be a part of something I don't like if they're signing my fat checks.
Sure. You're going to make another Harry Potter. I'll join in.
Yeah. So he's going to maybe be rescued next episode. We'll see. We have 2 episodes left and then the season's over till next year.
But then we get WandaVision, January 15th.
We do. We get a bunch of, and they're filming Hawkeye right now. You have Kate Bishop and her whole get up. So things to look forward to. That's kind of our brief recap. I think when Mandalorian's over, we're really going to dive in deep onto the season. This is just kind of a brief. Other than that, next week we are going to talk Harry Potter. Harry Potter. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa. I love Harry Potter. We're probably going to have a few guest speakers on with us because Hoppy is uncultured. And she's just going to be there, just staring into the camera, feeling bad about herself as she should.
Nope. I'll be like, I'm really happy I didn't read all these books or watch all these. I
did
try to watch all
amazing.
These.
So in the meantime,
I read the first one. I did not find it amazing.
Well, you quit after 1. You don't really know what you're getting into. So follow us, like us, subscribe. Hops Geek News on the gram. Hops News searching anywhere else. If you have anything you want us to fix, ask, DM us, let us know. And thank you for following along with our drunken adventures. Cheers, mateys.
Cheers. Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Motherfucker.
This has been a Hops News production. You can find Hops News on all your favorite podcasts and social media platforms at Hops News. Cheers.